Ah, dodging bullets like
Oh,
fucking
beautiful.
Leo. It scared me. Thanks. Just assume it says starting soon. Yeah, starting soon. Gonna chat for a little bit. Boom! Thanks, Pedro. Where's my face? There's my face. Hello. Well, I don't know why I put my headphones on. Welcome to some Star Citizen type stuff. As always, I don't really play Star Citizen much, although that is literally changing this weekend. And we are planning to play a reasonable amount on stream, but we'll see. I wanted to talk about Star Citizen. I'm bored today. There's a car passing my house, really loud. It's really hot in my room, so the microphone's a bit shit. It's because I've got the window open, and the ceilings of the room is broken. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about Star Citizen. I was really bored today. I was taking a day off because I'm so fucking tired. I think it's just because I'm hot, and not like sexually, but in a actual, like a volcano kind of way. And I've been going for runs for like an hour a day and stuff, trying to lose weight, and I've been changing up my diet in a to live longer, I suppose, would be healthier. So we'll see how that goes in a while. But I'm not used to all my joints ache. But if you want to ask a question about the Star Citizen, or about my channel, or about myself, or about any of the drama that's been going on recently, feel free to question in brackets. If people want to chuck around accusatory statements or be a dick, you're not going to get a question answered. You're going to get banned or something probably. I'm fine for discourse, and I'm fine for people chatting, and fine for people having an opinion. But when that opinion is clearly inflammatory for the case, for the pure state to be inflammatory and to be a dick, then I'm not up for that. For people that don't know, and it's totally really irrelevant to Star Citizen thinking about it properly. Sid Alpha made a video. A lot of media have reported on the $27,000 Legatus package, which is a remake of one of the completionist package that Star Citizen had, and they've reported on it pretty negatively. They've really, really gone for the throat of the game when it comes to their opinions of like dodgy business practices and predatory stuff. And typically, these videos aren't the most researched. They are very much based on like Polygon and clickbait, sweeping sort of like aggressive arguments about the game, saying this is what this means and stuff like that. And I feel that they're unfair, and that's my personal opinion. It's also opinion based on a lot of research, so take it that as you will. And I'm fine with people having an opinion on the game. I'm fine with people being cautious about it. I'm fine with people saying, "Is this game a scam?" and stuff like that. There is an issue with Star Citizen, and when you call it a scam or when you defend it, is that neither of you are right currently. It's definitely not a scam at the moment. Well, it's never going to be a scam. Let's get that straight. However, there is a potential that the game could be shit. There's a potential that that stuff could go wrong with the game. Definitely, it's very unlikely that stuff will go like terribly wrong with the game or anything. But there's possibility that some of the mechanics will be shit, and we have to get them ironed out. I mean, that's what we're doing currently as a community. So I quite enjoy the idea of the project and everything. The thing is with when people have this sort of like very aggressive or any other point of view about Star Citizen that is sort of like it's a scam or it's never going to be done or they're taking your money or whatever, is that you can't disprove anyone. You can't prove and you can't disprove it. So you have to let the game speak for itself when it comes out and learn to roll with the punches. You can be friends with people that don't have the same opinions as you. You can be totally cool with people that don't have the same opinions as you. In fact, basically, the point I was getting to was that Sid Alpha was apparently threatened by a Star Citizen backer after he made a negative video on it. Now, there is no proof that this dude's backed Star Citizen, and it's irrelevant if he did anyway. That you're not a collective. It's not an organised cult collective that some people would like to believe. It's based on individuals. So I'm assuming it was just a troll trying to inflame, as they do, make Star Citizen backers look bad, because I assume he identified himself as a Star Citizen backer or something odd. But you know, some people are dicks. I don't know if he was a backer or not. It's irrelevant if he was, because you know, it's someone that backs something. I mean, I always thought that when people were like aggressive trolls, like really, really bad trolls of the game, I was going to buy them a Star Citizen package and go, "Well, you're part of the community too." Like, I'll do something like that. But sorry, I don't really like. I like to avoid the drama where possible. I think you should try and be the most reasonable person in a room all the time. Always try and listen to someone. And it's fine for them to disagree with you. It's fine for them to have their own opinion. And if people want to say, "Ha ha ha ha, lol, 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 your game's shit," well, it's not my game to start with. I'm covering it, and that's fine for you to have that opinion. It's all good. Music was a bit loud. I apologise. No, I don't want to be Prime Minister. That would be hell. I'm happy to talk about social change probably in a few years' time. Yeah. I don't want to get into politics or social like pressure or anything at the moment. Who won the Tonkin Turtle? Good question. Gene Winter won the Tonkin Turtle, I believe. If you go on the Reddit, or if you go on the monthly channel updates, that sort of place, you can
Tricksy
find
little
who won the giveaways. Thank you very much, Vulcan Cannon. Much appreciated. Also, in the link to every video, there is a link to this current giveaway, which also lists the winner of last giveaway. Do you think I should CCU my Aquila to a 600i? I don't think you should spend more money on the game. Get it in-game if you can. The Aquila's pretty cool if you want an exploration ship, the 600i. Explorer variant is the one that's going to be coming out in 3.2. So, I mean, it's up to you. I wouldn't spend any more money when you've got a ship like that already, unless you really love the 600i. I loved your faces as well. Thank you very much. All right, mate. I'm in Hampshire. I'm down middle south in the UK's. My fabulously shiny head is doing good. Yeah, I've got quite a couple of people I've identified in my last video. I've got like quite a long head, and I do because I'm a cesarean section. So I was cut out of my mummy's tummy. And cesarean sections have longer heads because your head is not compressed by the birth canal. True story. That's why I have a freakish head. Thanks, Mum. Hey, Bored, how many ships do you own? What's your favourite ship? The Reclaimer's probably my favourite ship. Doesn't have the mechanics yet to obviously have the gameplay that I want for it. I don't know how many ships I own. A reasonable amount. I will look through my hangar properly at some point. I'm not going to buy all the ships by any means. If one day CIG do like a press account, I will try and get a press account because I feel I covered the game enough to try and get all the ships, but I won't use it. I won't use any of that in game for myself when the game's released. You see what I mean? I don't use that for creating content. If that's ever becomes a thing. I'm sorry if I sound low. Apologies. Let's bring that up. Is that better? When do you think Star Citizen will become optimized enough to play smoothly with 100 people on a mid-ended PC? Will they optimize enough to avoid the need for Optane SSDs? Yeah, so you don't need an Optane SSD now. I run, when I run the PTUs and stuff, I run that off my my M2 drive. I do move it over to my Optane to see what it's like, but you don't need an Optane drive. And in fact, the Optane drives are so expensive that I recommend getting like a Samsung Evo 970 or something like that. They're half the price, double the size. Really, really, really good. So that you can run it without an Optane now, definitely. The game is significantly more optimized than it was 6 months ago, and you're going to be able to have a lot of people on servers with meta NPCs, probably towards potentially in the 3.4 patch that comes in December. That's the sort of time that we're going to start, maybe 3.5, 3.4.
Tricksy little
so end of March next year, December this year. That's when they've got object container streaming. That's when they've got server meshing. That's when they've got a lot of optimizations that will all come online, or at least planned to. And I think that it's going to be a lot more scalable to mid-end PCs by then. You are going to see from patch to patch, hopefully, it get better and better with optimizations. However, as they add more tech, and that slows stuff down, and then they have to kind of iron it back up to where it was. Object container streaming that's coming in 3.3 should be huge gains when it's leveraged with bind culling that's coming in 3.2, so at the end of this month, and loads of other updates and optimizations that are coming in 3.3. How are we going to deal with those ignorant people in the YouTube, those big YouTubers making complaints about Star Citizen and calling Star Citizen again a scam once again? It's making me mad. Okay, so if it makes you mad, chill. Like it's not your place to get angry about it, and it's not your right. It's not your duty to defend CIG or Star Citizen. Those big YouTubers or mid-level YouTubers or small YouTubers or ignorant people or whatever, they're allowed to make their own opinions. They're allowed to make their own content. Some people like blah blah blah. I actually wrote down his name. Yong Yi. Really, really railed on Star Citizen, and it was based on his hatred of any time of monetization of games, basically, and shady business practices that he identifies and says these are bad. And I think he entirely incorrectly identified them, and I think it was poorly researched personally. But I come from, I am one of the most learned Star Citizen researchers for content. That's pretty much all I do all day. Research and read. I am going to start doing lore stuff as well at some point, in-game lore, so LORE, which will be interesting. Not a huge amount of it though, because I'm much more about gameplay mechanics. When I do lore stuff, it will probably be with a thing to a nod to sort of like, can it help you in game? I suppose what I'm trying to say there. But yeah, don't get mad. It's not your right to get mad, really. Chill. People can have different opinions than you. And the worst that happens typically when you see YouTubers, even if it's a very negative opinion about something, it will get more exposure to that subject. So Star Citizen will now have more people looking at it, and a percentage of those people will research it and transfer to it. They don't have to believe and you shouldn't believe what you are told in videos. You should read the sources. Have a look yourself as well. It's great to signpost people. It's great to tell people the news and that sort of stuff. But you have to have those sources. You have to be able to let people make up their own minds and decisions themselves. I can turn my mic up a little bit more. Hope that's a bit better. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Star Citizen probably won't be even in beta until a couple of years' time. So, simple as that. It's not a problem at all. It's like they are producing content each week in the news. They're talking about Star Citizen. They're showing what they're doing every week for every patch, and they're just starting to deliver. So the current flight model has got a lot better in 3.1.4 though. Needs a lot of work still.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much, Sipakana. Sipak. Oh, fucking why is everyone's name so complicated? Oh, oh, why? Bear with me 1 second. Well, I've broken. Well, you understand what people are saying. Apologies for the weird shape. I'll get that sorted for next time. I'm the worst, apparently. People don't come here to listen to like see professional stuff. They just want to look at my shiny head. I actually played through Mass Effect Andromeda recently, and I'm going to complete as well. I completed it. I'm also going to complete Metal Gear Survive and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare because I bought them and I'm going to fucking play them. Yes, Don Rayner, you can get a high. Mincy, no. The thing about Sid Alpha is he's fine. I've actually chatted to him. He's pretty chill now. He was angry at the time, but I don't even think it was a Star Citizen backer that threatened him. I think it was just a troll trying to stir stuff up. But don't know that. Pulling that fact out of my ass. That's more of a gut feeling, but it's irrelevant either way. Your opinion doesn't count for nothing. Your opinion is yours, and it's fine. Like. I think my voice is probably loud enough now. So yes, Star Citizen is doing something during E3. Well, not sort of. On the 11th, I believe they are going to appear on the PC Gamer E3 PC gaming show. It will probably be like a little short interview or a little like few minute clip of something. That's what I'm expecting. Just like a little trailer or something. So they're not really at E3, they're just appearing on one of the PC Gamer shows there. Yeah, so Gamescom as well then, they might have some sort of attendance at Gamescom when it comes to devs going there and saying hello, but they're not planning to do a presentation at Gamescom this year. So now you can hear cars going past my house because I turned up my mic. So the idea is that I think we're going to get a holiday live stream and we're going to get a CitizenCon presentation, but they are working on the game now, and they want people to know that, so they're not going to do these constant presentations all the time. Will ships with wheels be able to use a runway to take off rather than Vtol? No, I think they only use Vtol or their engines. It's a good question, though. I don't actually know for sure. I think that the wheels are effectively just for show. Yes, it's the bloke that Montoya was referring to in his video. And I actually quite I get on fine with Sid. He's I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says, but I watch it, and he seems to be a good chap. I get on with him fine. Same with Montoya. Like most of actually what Montoya says, I'm pretty I do agree with actually. I was watching some of his videos the other day and going, yeah, And all the time. Like, you can have totally different opinions than someone and it's fine. Yeah, I've broken everything. I broke it all. How many ships do you... I've already talked about that. Yeah, saying, I'm going to be playing other games and not just Star Citizen. Like, I'm very excited for Star Citizen. Like, really excited. And I'm planning to do content on it for, like, the next 10 years, if possible. That'd be fucking great, if not longer. But we'll see. I'm going to be realistic about Star Citizen. It probably will be the game of my dreams. But it might need some work, and it's going to be a while before it's out. That said, we genuinely might get a solid beta in just over a couple of years, and then like a year, just over a year after that, potentially a release. That would be cool. The thing is, there are mostly adults playing Star Citizen, and most people who say negative things are kids, teens, and young adults with no patience. Yeah, I know what you mean. When it comes to like gaming, like Overwatch and Fortnite and stuff, yeah, a lot of the toxicity there is based on people not really knowing the boundaries of speech, or going for shock speech, or being toxic in that sort of sense. Whereas as you become an adult, typically you're better at socialising, you're better at understanding your boundaries and what's going to get you in trouble, what's appropriate to say, how to win arguments in a much more controlled way, and to be able to, talk and explain your point. But yeah, typically younger people are worse at that, so they get angry, or they say they had sex with your mother. Where are we? The idea of paying £20,000 dollars disturbs you. Don't buy it. That is true. Yeah, Yonli was talking about it being a cheat code. It's not a cheat code. That's a little bit, well, it's just inaccurate. Typically, these sort of things are for fleets. Now, this is a thing. The pay-to-win argument, you can't prove or disprove. You just can't prove or disprove it. Star Citizen, with its purchases, looks to anyone from the outside that it will be pay-to-win. It looks to me like it may be pay for advantage. Now, you can't argue it either way properly until we have the game built out. And CIG have promised it won't be pay to win, so we have to keep them to that. Do you think with Combat AI coming, they could have a Star Marine mod with bots? In the future, yeah, but it's not on the roadmap at the moment. I don't believe it is anyway. We're all looking forward to using our prospectors in 3.2. How do you imagine the typical game loop with it? It's board mining. I will be doing a mining video after tonight's ATV, because tonight's ATV is a persistent universe update. I suspect it will have a lot more on mining. So the basic game loop will be get your prospector. Prospector in 3.2 will be the only ship that can mine. You will fly to an area. So I'm gonna quantum travel to somewhere near Grimhex. So quantum travel near Grimhex. I go to one of the little asteroid fields there, and then I set out a ping. So I go ping, which I'll do from pressing a button, hotkey or whatever. It will ping out. I think there might be even a 3.2 a preset amount and distance of ping you can do, because it lights you up like a Christmas tree. But you'll ping out. It will show little things that it's detected. Not really sure what they are yet. It will just show there's like fuzz, like a massive fuzz on your radar with like a little target reticle over them, and you can go over to there, go to travel towards one of them. As you get closer, you'll passively detect what it is better. And you see, oh, I see an asteroid. You go up to the asteroid. You'll lock onto it with your targeting menu, whatever. Hover your cursor over it. It will tell you in more detail what's actually in that asteroid, and then you'll fire your mining laser at it, which you'll have to adjust the power throttle for to not explode the rock too badly. You want a controlled explosion, and then after you've done that, you'll then use your sort of like tractor sucky laser to suck out or to suck up the materials that you want. So you have a zoom laser and a suck laser. And then that will fill your cargo bay, and then you'll fly off and sell it on a landing pad. That's the basic simple gameplay loop in 3.2. I believe you'll also be able to do that on moons. There will be mineable nodes, which will fly down to, laser, and then just suck up. Do you know if we'll be able to contract out hauling and selling of mining cargo in 3.2, or will miners have to deliver it and sell it themselves? I believe they have to sell it themselves. You could have multiple prospectors, I assume, mining from the same area, though. Thank you. I appreciate all the kind words. No, so some YouTubers will do news based on what's popular being talked about. So, and they will follow the trends of media. And if I was doing a general news channel, I'd be very similar. I'd watch to see what people were saying on different Reddits and like gaming Reddits and stuff. And I'd look through all these Polygon articles and that sort of stuff and just watch. And then when something becomes talked about, I'll then do an article on that or a video on that. Now, I hope that I'd always try to remain relatively neutral. It's hard to remain neutral with Star Citizen with me. I'm a big Star Citizen fan. And when I cover the news, people are like, well, why aren't you talking about this? The game's been successful. Well, I don't need to talk about that because that's not news. It's the same thing they're always doing. And I do talk about anything I don't like. I do criticize it. But I have obviously a different opinion from someone that is virulently against Star Citizen. What are they planning to make? How are they planning to make the same universe for all players across the planet? What will they really be able to synchronize? Well, I mean, the whole planet can be synchronized. Like, the procedural generation doesn't mean randomly generated. It's based on a seed, so it will look the same for everyone. The way they're going to do outposts and stuff, I don't 100% know. I think that you will be able to get everyone in the same shard, though. The only issues is if everyone, like, if 2 million players, or let's say 10,000 players, try to attack a particular part of a planet at the same time. That would cause issues, and I don't know how they're going to do that. I'm not sure what the limits will be and how they're going to get around them. They might block entry. The easier way of doing it is having, like, storms, like, in the jump points. So you have a jump point storm. So you say, well, it's taking longer for you to travel from here to here in this area because there's a quantum storm. And if you're trying to jump into, say, Stanton, when there's 30,000 players in it already, then there's the actual jump point might take you longer to get there, or you have to queue to get in. That's one of the ways I would alleviate that, personally. But obviously they will spin up more servers based on how many players are in each area. But they'll be able to synchronize everything. It's just, what will they be able to do player count-wise? And if they aren't able to have all the players in a single area, and someone wants to assault an outpost, that's an interesting thing, because that means I have to be in their instance, I have to be in the instance with everyone that owns that structure, and everyone that might join in with that, and stuff still needs to be worked out, or at least I don't have the answers for that, other than I know they're working on server meshing, which will come in 3.4, and object container streaming, which is 3.3, and that solves a lot of their optimization and machine bound issues that they're having at the moment. Have we heard any news recently on what jump points will be like? If memory serves, there will be a mini game on making it through the jump safely. Any new info on that? No, we'll probably see something at like CitizenCon this year. We know that they are jump points that will link systems. We've seen the little ship flying in it before as sort of like a really early concept. There may be a mini game. There may be. Okay, so there might be a mini game with them when you travel with them normally. I doubt it. There might be, but I doubt it. I think there might be a mini game when you first map a new jump point, because there will be discoverable jump points. I'm not sure if they're going to act like wormholes in Eve, where they're just up for a little while and they disappear. So they're like everywhere, and they just appear for a while and they disappear after a while. That would actually be pretty good. There's lots of stuff. Pardon me. My voice is breaking. I'm 33 years old, and I know even my voice is breaking. But there's lots of stuff from Eve that Star Citizen can use as game concepts, and they can learn from Eve, definitely. The way to do things and not to do things. Dell, so it might raise some eyebrows, and that's fine. However, the game scope didn't change until 20 end of 2013. So 2014 was the when I started doing content on Star Citizen. I would not have been interested in Star Citizen in its previous state. It's much more the new scope of the game. And it's not $20 million, it's $185 million later. It's not 6 years later from the new scope, it's 2013. So, yeah, we're talking 5 years now. They had to build a studio, and they've started delivering on the game now. It's slow, it's certainly not great at the moment, but this year we're getting more and more. So, yeah. That's the most sensible thing to do. Hop in to the game when it has a beta, when it has a release date, and wait. There's nothing wrong with that. Since you took the office tour, can you confirm the Vulture now that we have some officially released images? I know they're small and incomplete, but hoping. So as far as I'm aware, this is the only image we have that was in the Calling All Devs, but Calling All Devs had a Drake interplanetary logo halfway through it. It was like a signal attack. Blah, 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 blah. That's a signal attack sound. And it said on the 14th June, something's coming, basically. And they showed this sort of image that's just been cleaned up by people on Reddit. Which I will link for people that want it. The Vulture is the most likely new next concept cell. It's a small Drake salvage ship. It's probably that.
Dodging bullets like fucking
beautiful.
Neo.
Well, thank you very much. Oh, thank you for all the donations and the cheer. I'm putting that towards stuff that I need. I want to get an Optane 905 P drive just to see if they're any good, so I can say to people whether they should get them or not. My suggestion at the moment is probably they're far too expensive. But there's loads of other hardware and stuff I need at the moment. I do want to get a new microphone at some point, just like the best microphone I can fucking get. So thank you very much. That's what all your donations and things are going to. So the Vulture description, when it was originally talked about, so it could have changed even in pre-concept. A one-man salvage starter ship, no drones, but plenty of onboard storage to help with EVA salvage operations, space for cutters, charges, and space in a separate area to store and process the recovered salvage, mostly designed for a player to EVA out and do the salvage, rather than sit inside and do it with tractor beams and lasers. Small enough to sneak into hostile areas unnoticed to recover fresh salvage. So that was its original description. And the Vulture is confirmed. I'm just don't know when it's coming. It's almost certainly going to be the 14th of June, which would be Thursday, which would then be shown in ATV. So next week's ATV will probably be shown off. What do you think the issues with Lumberyard engine might be when it comes to 50 players? Well, the issue is that it doesn't have the tech necessary to have more than 50 players, which they are building with object container streaming and server meshing. This year, you're going to start to see that tech. So, first iteration of server meshing and more players on servers. Lots more players on servers, potentially. What do you think's a fair price for the Vulture? $110 max? Probably less than that, because the Cutlass is probably going to be pretty good and is cheaper. Maybe $90 then? Max? I mean, I've got a distorted view of stuff like that. Those smaller ships, almost certainly, I'd say, get in game. But what do you think one will be able to... What do you think one will be able to climb at some point? For example, if a ramp or lift is not accessible. I would like to see PUBG-style lifting up. It's vaulting, isn't it? I think we're going to have vaulting to some degree. Hannah, thank you very much. I love you. It was my birthday. Oh, it was my birthday last Friday, but I missed the stream. No worries. Oh, thank you very much. Hey, how Simon says.
Booyah. Proud supporter here. Keep up the great work, Bored.
I appreciate the sub. Thanks, dude. Yeah, so we're going to have vaulting. I'm just not sure how vaulty it's going to be. Yes, I like the idea of climbing. I think if it's sensible, they'll put it in the game, and I hope it becomes sensible. I will poke for that, because I would like to see the grabs and pull-ups. However, that's going to be interesting, because they want to do like procedural frames when it comes to that sort of thing. If you notice that the way you run and walk, it procedurally creates a frame based on the material that you're on, the distance you need to travel, and if you're stepping on a rock or whatever. So they'd have to do that really for grappling and vaulting and moving up uneven surfaces. Based on your advice, I bought 32 gigs of RAM for my Alienware. Yeah, so Star Citizen at the moment is incredibly RAM and graphics card RAM hungry. Object container streaming should help with that massively. That's coming in 3.3 in September. Is it possible to interrogate players? You might be able to interrogate NPCs. You might be able to interrogate them as part of missions. If you want to interrogate a player, it will have to be either roleplay or... Well, it'll be roleplay, or tell me this or I'm going to blow up your ship. Extortion or blackmail. I must be a simpleton, but it was only a few weeks ago. The issue of size made me think I have one ship in one system, and I'm in another system with another ship. So how can I get to my first ship quickly? I can't, I think, is the answer. You might have to go, you might have to go around. There might be jump points. Some of the jump points might allow your larger ship to go through. They will meet. Okay, so the quarterly releases of end of June, end of September, end of December, end of March, they will be met, if not the exact end, then around that. Like maybe give them a 1 or 2 day sort of like leeway, but they haven't missed one since they said they're doing the quarterly release schedule, which is good for them. Not all the stuff might make it in though. They might push stuff to a minus, like a 3.2.x patch, 3.2.1, if they didn't get object container streaming in fully or something like that. But that would be a 3.3 patch, object container streaming. But you see what I mean. But 3.2 looks like all the stuff's going to be in there. And it looks like Evocati will either be this week or next week, is my expectation of that. And then if you hear any Evocati leaks, it will be like, oh, there's only a fraction of what this patch is supposed to have in it. That's how they do the Evocati patches. They release a small amount of the content for you to test in Evocati, typically, not always. It's different every time. So. I think that Star Citizen will require another like 70 mil or 64 million to complete. So I think they need 250 million in total. That's my sort of like expectation. And it's not like they don't take the money and then like jam it into the game. It pays for staff. It pays for staff, basically. No one's running off with the money. As far as I'm aware. How many players are going to be able to play on the same server? Don't know. Don't know yet. I assume everyone will be able to play on the same shard. Since you've seen the Vulture, why do you say I've seen it? I've not said I've seen it. Optane memory can make difference to reduce latency on Star Citizen. Apparently, yes. Apparently, you can put Optane memory in your system and then have your system using it as RAM. But yes, I was talking about the Yongyi video earlier. He is very, very aggressive and railing at Star Citizen, which is fine. It's sort of like something he does. He's very anti-consumer practice stuff, and he's identified that Star Citizen as being something that he hates. But I don't. He's done very little research into it, in my opinion. But I'm not going to poke him too much because he's entitled to his opinion. And if anything, it's just going to bring more people to look at Star Citizen, and they can do the research themselves. It is 4:45 in my country. Badlands Nation, you don't need to give to ship donations or to donate anything to me to be in the organisation spotlight. If you go into my Discord, you can actually message me directly if you want, but if you also go into my Discord, there is a thread for it about orgs. You can post your org there. If you post your links to your org and a quick description of your org as if you're trying to recruit people, that will help me, because I look through that and I go, I want this org this month, or I want this org, and then I message them and say, I'm considering you for Organisation Spotlight. Is this month cool? Do you have anything to give away? And pretty much every time they've gone, yes, but I will give something away myself if you don't have anything. I want to cover all orgs at all levels of financial affluence. So it's all cool if you don't have anything to give away. Prospector will have the only working scanners in-game in 3.2, right? I believe so. I'm not 100% confirmed on that, but I believe that is the case. That would be the only ship that can mine. And I think it's the only ship that's got working scanners. And then 3.3 or 3.2.x will roll out to more ships. Do you think Orion owners will be able to mine with a Prospector in 3.2? If you've got a Prospector, yes, you need a Prospector to mine. Do the Orion owners, do they get it on the loaner matrix? That's a good point. Let's have a look at the loaner matrix. So on my website, bam. There's a big space there, fuck you website. I've updated loads of the guides and everything on there, including useful links to things like the loaner matrix. If it will load. More like the loader matrix, am I right? Well, that's loading. Orion. Orion gets the Reclaimer, so you don't have a... you won't be able to mine in 3.2. Unless you've got the correct ship. Eh? I've never smoked crack, no. Thanks for asking. Thanks for the question. I don't know what that says. From today's perspective, other games are like an appendectomy and Star Citizen are more of a brain surgery. Ugh. I don't think Star Citizen is going to be that complex. It's quite complex at the moment because it's not finished properly and like they're adding random components. They're not sure how that stuff's going to work and there's no tutorials and it's all being iterated on. But I think when it's done, it will have a solid learning curve and it will have a good skill ceiling at pretty much all of its roles. But I don't think it will be super complex. How are they planning to make the same universe for all players across planets? And will they be able to synchronize? We already talked about that. When do I think the game will come out? You think late 2019? That is very, very optimistic. Star Citizen, the persistent universe, probably not a beta until 2020, mate. It's probably the Vulture, the Drake Vulture salvage ship coming on the 14th, or at least going to be previewed in an ATV on the 14th, but not confirmed, but probably will be. We've got a while yet, tech-wise, to worry about Star Citizen's actual release date. No, I'm not a dev in Star Citizen. However, I'm probably one of the most researched people in Star Citizen, and a lot of them aren't development questions that haven't been answered before. I don't work for CIG, nor am I paid by them in any way. Given the amount of server resource that that will be required, do you think in the future CIG will start to charge a monthly or annual subscription simply to cover server overheads? I think there's a potential for that. Maybe not straight away. Maybe a good few years after the game comes out. I wouldn't be upset about a monthly fee. Something they'd have to discuss with the community. Definitely. Can't just go, and well, we're going to do this. And that has to be talked about. But that wouldn't be for the short term anyway. But I do think they need to look for the long term of their game. And that might be a sensible way of long terming it. However, with the sale of ship packages, with the sale of UEC, effectively, hopefully blunting gold selling in the game with that as well, like black market trading. they should make enough money, but we'll have to wait and see. We don't know how many players can be on the same server. The hope is to have everyone on the same shard. We'll have to see how many people we can get on each server. Each server, though, probably won't be able to have more than a few hundred people on, but there'll be more servers per area with transitions seamlessly between areas. Yeah, so almost all the core tech in, or at least the most urgent core tech will be in by 3.4, which is server meshing is the last of the major core tech. I think Aaron said it was the last of the core tech was object container streaming. I just think it's the biggest. Oh, thank you very much, Captain Prox.
A small donation for your good work. When are you gonna make a more fantasy gameplay content? For example, what would you do with a Polaris when it comes to gameplay?
Yeah, so we've been thinking about this recently and talking to the other guys. Yeah, we're going to start to do Star Citizen gameplay. We're going to start to do some videos, and probably there will be like a little story going on, but only one person will really know what the story is, and they'll be pushing it to go to areas, and we'll have people playing NPCs in game and stuff like that. So we'll do some story type gameplay definitely at some point. It takes a lot of organisation. It might be pretty rough around the edges first time we do it as well, but we can edit it. Do you think the repair tech will be expanded into being manufacturing tech? Oh my god, I hope so. So manufacturing in game is something I really want. I would like the idea of making munitions and weapons and potentially even ships. But farming and stuff is pretty cool as well. You can't compare the engines. It'd probably be unfair to. Got really itchy nose, I apologise. So please help me. Will it be possible for Europeans to play with Americans? Yeah, I believe so. In the shorter term, I talked to Aaron about this actually. In the shorter term, I think that the servers will be relatively segregated for the persistent universe. Longer term, there will be solutions to that. Thank you very much, Full Gregory. Full Go. Oh my god. Use your big boy words. Full Goro Geek. Thank you very much. I just saw the Yong Ya video about the Legatus pack. Do you think all the misinformed talk about this package will damage CIG more than benefit them? No, I think people will look at the game more. I think hopefully CIG will be a bit more cautious about what they think is appropriate to put out as well. And they have done some faux pas in the past, definitely. People need to make up their own minds about stuff and need to do the level of research they're comfortable with. Some people just want shock value media. Those people probably weren't going to buy Star Citizen or look at Star Citizen anyway. And people that do look at it are much more likely to transfer over to playing it or backing it or having an opinion on it. And that's not bad. Thank you very much for the question. Intel and AMD have recently announced 28 cores and 32 cores CPUs. We need to wait for them to be in our hands before we know. There's lots of showmanship and bullshittery they can do when it comes to this stuff, and they can go, oh, 1 million cores at 6 gigs, or 5 gigs in this case, and stuff like that. We need to see how long they perform at that, how fast they actually are in real terms. And so CPUs are not going to have that much of an issue. Well, Star Citizen will be scalable, CPU-wise, they have said. So I don't know what that's going to scale up to. I think originally they said around 16 cores, but it might be a lot more cores now, a lot more threads. So yeah, it'll probably make better use of CPU threads. It's gaming in general that's going to benefit from more cores in the future. At the moment, we don't have much that really makes use of multiple CPU threads when it comes to gaming. And single core performance is pretty solid on like 4 to 8 threads. So we need them in our hands first. I'm probably not going to be playing anything today, just because I wanted to pop on quick and just say hello, really. I was bored, literally bored rather than... I'm both literally bored and figuratively bored. The Vulture, think about it, I said 110, then I reduced it to 90. I'm thinking 80 now. Like 80 to 90 seems like a reasonable maybe for a focused salvage ship. We'll have to wait and see exactly what it does, though. It's going to be a bit stealthy because it's Drake and it's small, probably. We don't know, actually. When do you think the game will come out? We already talked about that. Any thoughts on 3.2 Evocati release? Yeah, it could be this week, could be next week. That's between now and the end of next week is quite likely. Is there any ship in game on the roadmap you would consider a pocket carrier? There's probably going to be do you remember when they were talking about the Kraken escort carrier? So there's going to be like a scout or civilian carrier ship, probably, and that will make them a lot of money, I suspect, as well. But yeah, I think there's probably going to be uses for that for a pocket carrier, if that's still going to be a thing, which it probably will be. Other than that, pocket carrier-wise, I mean, you could put loads of bikes in the Caterpillar, things like that. Depends exactly what you want your pocket carrier to do. And potentially you could use the one they've got at the moment, the Hercules, the civilian Hercules, as a pocket carrier, for example. So they've talked about swimming. We're not sure what interaction level we're going to have for 3.3. I don't suspect we will actually have swimming in 3.3 because it requires them to have proper mocap for swimming, doesn't it? So I don't expect we'll have swimming, but we might. As soon as I have more information on the Crytek versus Star Citizen dispute, I will update you. What do I think worst case scenario is? I mean, worst case scenario, the world explodes. Realistically, worst case is that Star Citizen would have to pay Crytek some money, probably like a couple of million or something. Probably worst case. I'm sure other people will say, well, the worst case is the game will stop. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. No court is going to say, well, no, you've got to stop your game. Hey, Bored, recently I bought the Aurora MR starter pack, and I'm thinking about upgrading it to the Avenger Titan. I really like the Avenger Titan. I think it's sort of like the top level ship that people should buy into if you want something a bit more than your starter pack. So if it's not going to fuck you up financially, then yeah. Yep, Star Citizen probably will be a top game that's out. I'm banking on that. What's the first ship I want to see and use in 3.2? Oh, it will have to be the Prospector just because of the new mechanics. Just because of the mining mechanics. I want to scan and mine. Each iteration gets a bit better. Yeah, it's very RAM. So the minimum RAM you need really to play Star Citizen, the minimum at the moment is 12 gigs. And to set your computer up really well and not be running anything else in the background. Really, you need 16 gigs, and then if you can get 32 gigs of RAM, great. Then you won't have as many problems. I don't have a 600i. You want to give me a 600i, JQ Star, you're more than welcome.
I am going to buy so many spaceships.
Thank you very much,
Have you
Harbinger.
heard anything about the Polaris heading to the art team? Given the slowdown on the 600i, got a few things to show you, by the way, when you've time.
No worries, dude.
Love your face.
Harbinger, I will poke you soon. I was thinking about you earlier today, not in a sexual way or anything. I was just thinking, I haven't heard from Harbinger in a while, and it'd be good to use him for some of these story gameplay content I want to do. Because you obviously have experience of that. As does Kit, now with you. But, no, I haven't heard much more about the Polaris. I don't think there's necessarily been a slowdown. When you look at the roadmap, the amount of tasks that there aren't indicative of how big that task is or a percentage complete. So it's hard to tell. I wish they had a better breakdown. Actually, we should probably ask for tasks to be listed just by name. Just name the task. If it's in Jira and it has a task, then it's probably got a name for the task. So give name, please. I really want the Polaris. Yeah. I'm excited about the Polaris as well. Thank you very much, Badland Nations. 10 out of 10. Keep it up, board. I try. I'm against third view, and honestly, to me, this is a stopper. Do you think they will disable it? I'm hoping that third-person view will only be available if you have a little drone that flies around you, giving you a third-person camera. Okay? So I'm cool with that. If there's a drone above me that is giving me third-person camera, that's sort of fine, because you could shoot them, you could see where someone is if they're trying to lean out behind a corner, then a fucking drone comes out, that sort of stuff. I don't think the intention is to have third-person camera all the time, so we'll have to wait and see. As I said, I really would like manufacturing in-game. I don't know what the optics... I don't know what that is. 1 second. Do a review of the optics. What the fuck? Let's have a look. Oh, this giant display. I have seen it. Okay. I'll see if I can get one. Should work with Star Citizen, shouldn't it? Just a giant monitor. I do think handheld mining lasers will be a thing. We saw on the 2016 CitizenCon, sort of like thing that there was like crystals around planets. And yeah, maybe you bring a ship down, but I think you're going to be able to use the multi-tool to do some like hand mining. Probably, maybe. It's interesting to know when we eject from ships, when we're in atmosphere, how are we going to get to the floor? Is it going to be parachutes? Is it going to be jump packs? Is it going to be some sort of gravity shieldy thing? Rocket chairs? Who knows? I'm interested to see what they do for that. Thank you for all the kind words. Appreciated. Do you think they intend to implement jetpacks, as in personal boosters and EVA, that would work as jetpacks in atmosphere? That's pretty much what we were talking about a second ago, actually, isn't it? Okay, so I think there's going to be different levels of EVA, suit and pack. So you'll probably be able to mod some of your undersuits and some of your EVA suits a little bit further with some bits. I think jetpacks is something they will probably look at. I'm not sure if they will implement them. EVA type stuff for jumping out of ejecting an atmosphere. I like the idea of jetpacks to allow you to safely eject. I actually quite like the idea of little jetpacks, little jump packs for moving around. But then you don't need to have the climb issues. But thank you very much. Congrats on the Silver YouTube Award. Thank you very much. Appreciated. I have wanted it for ages. I've only experienced a couple of hackers in Star Marine. I haven't played Star Marine in the last couple of weeks. That's because I'm waiting. At the moment, I'm sort of like waiting for Evocati. Do I think some Titan suits will have jetpacks? Oh. Maybe just to help them if they get stuck in geometry. If you played Natural Selection 2, the mechs and the exosuits, they have little tiny jump packs which give them like 20 centimeters off the floor sort of thing, to help them get stuck on geometry or whatever, or to do little tiny jumps. So maybe I wouldn't be opposed to Titans having something for self-righting and to make them mobile when it matters. Sort of like, oh, I'm stuck in a fucking hole. You don't want them to be too agile, those things, though. Like, you want them to have downsides. Like, you want them to be, if you're using them in a building or something, you want them to be really severely cut off from what they can do. Maneuverability should beat them. Love the website. Good man. All woman. Good person. Just wondering what ship you would recommend for someone who's new and just about to start playing. I would recommend getting a Mustang Alpha starter pack and using that and getting into the game. You'll be able to buy ships at some point in the near future with Alpha UBC in game. I was hoping it was going to be 3.2, which is a possibility. It's just much more unlikely. I'm going to keep on pushing CIG to give us ships in game with Alpha UBC because it's so fucking important. If you really, really, really want something more after that, and give it some time, then maybe go for an Avenger Titan, which is like $15, $20 more. And you can upgrade later. As we have ships labelled as pirate, what would be the opposite and most trustworthy ship currently in design / flight ready? Oh, I see what you mean. So what? The Avenger? The Avenger or the Hornet? Probably the most trustworthy ship, if you see what you mean. You would go, security ship. Yes, so, if you go onto the knowledge base, so, someone else had that same problem with Shadow, so, and in Star Citizen in general. So when you install the launcher, you click install and it flashes and nothing happens. Now, you can try to install it to a different directory, and that can just fix it. However, there is a whole thing on knowledge base, the Star Citizen knowledge base about it. So let me... Your problem is listed and a solution is there. It'll take me a while to find the exactly what it is, but you'll find it there. It's pretty good knowledge base. For people that are having problems with Star Citizen, the knowledge base for troubleshooting is great. It also has all the FAQs on now, so it has the latest information about how pledging works and about how gifting works and all that sort of stuff. What do I expect from the 300i series rework in 3.4? Them to be a bit sleeker, to look more like the 600i, a little bit more like the 100 series. So maybe get rid of the weird angular bits, the super angular bits. Fractional size increase, maybe. I expect them to retain what they were, which is probably going to be a luxury version of the Avengers series. However, they might become a luxury version of the Hornet series. So, I'm going to be doing a video in the future talking about playing Star Citizen's Persistent Universe, like in a more released state, as a solo player compared to doing it with a group or with an org. And is it viable to do that? Potentially, we could have a flight-ready capital ship like the Idris or the Javelin before Squadron 42's release, but they've said it would. They originally said it wouldn't be held back. They wouldn't hold those ships back for Squadron 42's release if all the tech was there and they worked really well. But it looks to me likely that they're holding them back for Squadron 42's release. What are your thoughts about people calling this game a failure or money pit? You can't disprove them, or they can't prove their thing either. So it's their opinion, and that's fine. If they did research and stuff, and they still had that opinion, that's cool. That's something they need to wait until the game's released. The game needs to speak for itself. I don't even think that this game has generated that much money for what the game wants to do as a AAA game. It's very unique in what it's doing, and I think it's going to need 250 million, so another like 66 million? 63 million? 63 million it will need, in my opinion, and a couple of years before it's in beta. If core feature... Sorry, I mean, why not when? If core features in by the end of the year, why so long? Easier job to fill out solar systems compared to game systems. It's much easier for them to make gameplay area, but they are getting all the systems in place so that they can rapidly build out everything. When the Stanton system is finished, most of the gameplay mechanics for filling out the verse are going to be there, so they can build loads of systems. That's why you're going to have a beta in a couple of years, probably. Sorry if I didn't answer that very well. I didn't understand your question that well, sorry. Can you recommend any way of viewing your whole fleet to scale? including land vehicles and all your ships together. I don't know, Aspire, can I? Do you want to link your program? I'll look. I will look at that again. I'll put it on my website actually. Aspire. Hello, Aspire. Can you answer Helium Freak's question? Yes. Sorry, I'm a little bit higher up in the chat at the moment. No worries. Thank you. Feel free to drop your link in though, and I will have it. I will do a proper feature on your thing at some point when it becomes. I'll talk about it occasionally, but I will do a full feature on it at some point. Yes, so for a gaming, a 600K, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 1070 is enough to play Star Citizen. Yes. I do think that GTX 1060 will be enough to play the full game when it's released. Yes, I do. Not at 4K or anything, but 1080p, yeah. Yeah, so you need a cinematic camera mode in some way, but you can have that with drones and stuff. There are ways around that, Morgan, Black Powder, definitely. Some of the stuff needs to be worked out. You want it to make sure that people don't have like this massive PUBG-esque advantage from height because they're in third-person mode. Unless there's a downside to that, but like having a drone or having your signature higher or something, an in-game reason for you to be able to see in third person. Because everything else is diegetic and reasonable, isn't it? You can't link it. Oh, Aspire. Fleet viewer. Oh. My fleet.space, is that still the... It is my fleet.space, isn't it? Yes, it is. It's got a link to someone else's. So Aspire made, if you go to myfleet.space, I'm not sponsored or endorsed by Aspire, however, he is dropping a load of donations in the chat, so this is actually pretty cool as well, though. So you can see all your ships basically visualized with this program. Matadors are heavily involved in sponsoring them, it seems. I've got my fucking little... Oh, shit. Got some love there. So basically, it grabs your ship data from your hangar and then outputs it in scale. You can see all your ships and how they look to each other, which is pretty cool. Check it out. I'll link it again. Kabam. Shabam. Kazam. What do I think about the Mustang reworks? Will it bring the ship inline into popularity? I love the Mustang already on paper. It's just like the Avenger Titan's a little bit more and so much better. However, I do think it's going to make the ship a lot more popular because it's going to be pretty cool. In fact, I think that they'll need to do something about the Aurora to balance it. Like they'll have to make the utility part of the Aurora very appealing. Congrats! Oh, Relapse, love your face. Relapse is one of my very good mods. Congrats on your hard work and success. We are all very proud of you. I've recently started diving back into a monumental amount of lore ascribed to our game. In your opinion, is lore an important part in the game like this, or is it appeasing a very specific demographic discuss? I think that some in-lore stuff, including like the Xi'an language and stuff, is going to have some uses in-game. It's not going to be entirely useless. I think knowing some lore is going to be useful. However, not all lore is. Some is just for fluff. But some it helps just build the universe and gives you immersion. So lore is very important for immersion and for story building and for story supporting, definitely. But it's also going to be giving you different bits of gameplay, clues to stuff. It's going to be giving you hints and stuff. How many hours will there be to play in Squadron 42? So episode 1, I think it's going to be like 40 to 70, I think they said, for your first playthrough. We'll have to wait and see, though. Did you have much personal interest in CIG's short story competition? No. I haven't even read the winners yet. I've got them up on my screen, but I haven't read them. Did it succeed in their eyes? I don't know. I think at the moment they're trying to engage the community with competitions and get more content creators out. And I think we're going to see a lot more competitions in the future and a lot more content creator type competitions when it comes to tutorials and make this video and this sort of thing. I think that was sort of like, at the moment, this is sort of like they're testing the water. They're putting feelers out to see what works and what doesn't work and how can they improve their community sort of like engagement and response and get stuff made for them for free by giving spaceships for people making tutorials, which I'm actually very much for now. Can you answer my question, please? You skipped past my question twice now. Yes, I can, Helium Freak. I can see it underneath. Do you think it's better to wait for the 100 fleshed out star systems, or would it be better to have 40 than write in lore of civilizations expanding that the player can be involved in? I think it's better to have the smaller amount of systems, 40, and release the game at 40, and then flesh out more and more systems as quick as they can. Have it so that you have to discover the points, or that there's missions that you have to complete in that area or something. Yeah. Have it expanding. Makes more sense. Sorry, I didn't see your question. Sorry, it occasionally jumps ahead. I've got lots of questions here. Apologies. I've read that one twice. Can you please sum up what you said about the Vulture, please? So, the information that we had on the Vulture from the last time they talked about it, which was last year, it is a Drake small one-man starter ship for salvage. It's a starter salvage ship. So, it's not a starter ship, but it's like the lowest level focused salvage ship. No drones, but plenty of onboard storage to help the EVA salvage operations, space for cutters, charges, and space in a separate area to store and process recovered salvage, mostly designed for players to EVA out and do salvage rather than sit inside and do it with a tractor beam, laser, and that sort of stuff. Small enough to sneak into hostile areas unnoticed to recover fresh salvage. Now, that was the original sort of like blurb behind it when they were talking about it. Could have changed significantly. So bear that in mind. Telling you all I know from the information I have. Do you think that the 890 jump will be able to float on water? Yeah, I think that a lot of ships are going to be able to float. I think that is what they're going to do. They're going to be able to land on water. That is my assumption, but I think it's quite a solid assumption. Just have, whenever ships hit water, them to be buoyant, really buoyant, even if they're like entirely destroyed. Will Pop-In be completely gone in long term? That is the intention, yes, for Pop-In to be completely gone. And there to be, if you've seen the Arc Corp, just the further you get away from stuff, the less detail it shows. They've got that down pretty well and looking pretty good. Object container streaming and server meshing should be all they need to potentially get rid of popping. But we'll have to see. We'll talk. I'll ask some questions to the devs about the third-person camera in a lot more detail, and then we'll do a video on it. I think at some point, if enough, a lot of people talked about it, and it's a reasonable question. And I think they've talked about it before, but we need to know their current intentions behind the system. Now's a good time to ask Star Citizen a lot of questions about what is your current thinking on these mechanics. What are, if any, measures that CIG can take to have anti-cheat measures in game? There's lots of different ones they can take. I'm not sure what they're going to take. Obviously, they can have lots of server logs for the persistent universe and stuff that they can look through. Make sure nothing untoward or odd's happening. People can report people. Basic report systems and stuff like that. But there needs to be a way of working out if people are cheating or just preventing cheating in total. But I don't know exactly how that's going to happen. I think it's something that we'll have to discover as we play the game. Hopefully it will be sorted so there are no major super exploits and cheats for a release. But yes, so you'll be able to sell mined objects. So in 3.2, you're going to be able to grind up asteroids and mine them. that blow up asteroids and mine them, or minables on planets, and then you'll be able to sell them. When refineries come online, you're going to be able to refine those components further, and I think that's probably where most of the trade will be done when they actually come out. But you'll be able to sell them in 3.2, whatever. We don't know when the Carrack will be hanging ready, probably next year. They're going to start to talk about the Carrack a lot more soon. I play with head tracking, but if I'm walking about ships or wearing new clothes, hell, I'll jump to third person to see my ship better, or my mates. Cheat doesn't enter your mind. Yeah, that's true, I know what you mean. But yeah, there needs to be a downside of using third person. So that you can't just look round corners with it. You could have it so it culls what you can't see. There's lots of things you could do with it. I like the idea of a drone just flying out around you. Chizboard, question. Do you think... Oh, no, I don't think... Oh, no, I think I lost your question. I lost your question. Do I think farming will be on and off planets? I think it was. Yeah, I think it will be both on the Endeavour. I think you'll be able to do it on planets. I think you'll be able to change the soil on planets. You're not going to be able to have huge geometry changes to planets other than like building outposts and stuff. But I do think farming will be a thing on planets and in the Endeavour. And potentially on other ships as well. If I have a Cutlass Black, is it worth melting my raw LN for a bike? Potentially, yeah. Potentially. Maybe not melt, you could upgrade your raw LN to a bike. Thank you very much, Son Goku. Appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words. One day I will be on 1 million subs, I'm sure. How do you feel about glare on visors and helms? Okay, I do not want glare on my windscreen, or my space screen, my cockpit screen, my helmet, or my visor. Get rid of all glare. Get rid of all bullshit effects. Okay? Maybe little tiny side effects. But I want that clear. If I'm looking at someone else's visor, I'm cool for them to have cool glass effects on that. I'm cool if someone shoots me in my visor for there to be a crack in my visor or something. But I don't want other effects other than that. I don't want the glare. I don't want weird, domey glass effects. I just want to be able to see through it. Hi, Bored. I'm a big fan of your channel. Yes, good man. And like many others, I wouldn't have a clue what's going on Star Citizen without your work. You're the man. I watch your channel for daily updates. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Why are people arguing? What are you talking about? Stop arguing. Are there any unannounced super secret features that you know of? Not features. I know a couple of concept ships that are coming. They're probably coming. No arguing, we're typing in a virtual chat room, okay. Okay. Squadron 42 and Star Citizen Star Map are supposedly the same, right? Yes. Squadron 42 is like set 3 years or so before Star Citizen's PU, if you see what I mean. So the PU will be current in-game live type gameplay, whereas Squadron 42 is before that. I'm a true PC gamer. I played the best game ever, Half-Life. Now, Half-Life is a solid game to refer to as the best game ever. Me and DC have been replaying very often Half-Life and Sven Karp and doing like very slow speed runs of it. When can we expect Star Destroyers and Star Citizen? When they need more money. There are going to be synth worlds, well, a synth world, so... I like the short story that was kind of a comment by comment, play-by-play, quite comical, where they released the bomb accidentally while upside down. You probably want to... I will look through all the stories, definitely, at some point. Well, not all of them, some of them. Question: Farming is my Space Dream Endeavour owner and 4 land claims. Do you think there will be dedicated farming ship? Maybe. I mean, the Endeavour's pretty close to being able to be outfit like a dedicated mining ship. Obviously, you're able to farm on land. There might be other ones. But I think you've probably got your bases covered already. New Zealand story! Oh my fucking god. Oh. Altered Beast. Altered Beast and Sonic were, I think, the first games I ever played. So, yeah, I think the idea is that you will be able to do missions and affect change in systems by repeatedly attacking pirates or Vandal and stuff. So yes, you should be able to push Vandal out of systems eventually and that sort of stuff. And missions are generated based on needs and what's happening in the verse. So you could constantly pound them, and hopefully that would be reflected by the God AI, pushing them out of the system. What is known about the varieties of weather that planets will have? There will be weather. There will probably be lots of different weather. Rain and snow and, you know, wind. We don't know too much about clouds yet, really, in games, so we'll have to wait and see. And I suspect we'll start seeing weather this year. Oh, Aspire, thank you so much for all the donations. Very much appreciated. If anyone else wants to donate, genuinely thank you, appreciate it. I think I do accept crypto. I think I do accept crypto now. Yeah, I do. So, shut dog. On the donate button. Yeah, mate. BoredGamer. Streamlabs. Streamlabs.com. BoredGamer. Yeah, you can donate crypto, you fucking can! I knew they added this. Yeah, mate. Gift crypto plicks.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Oh, okay. Zokli. So, can you tell me how to phonetically spell your name again? Zok. Zoklu. It's like that. I know that I remember the first, because I always call you Zyclo. Zokli. Yeah? Zoklu. Is that the second bit I'm having problems with now? Thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. Oh, thank you very much, Aspire. Jesus. So the video clip I'm running in the background at the moment is the 2017 vertical slice demo of Squadron 42. So Squadron 42 will be the first released product we get from CIG. And that could be anywhere between, I suppose, in 12 months' time. Probably a realistic release. I was born in 1985, so wow. Good job with your first computer then. Half-Life 2 is amazing. Half-Life was amazing. So do you think you'll be doing regular gameplay uploads for those that can't play?
Spaceships.
Oh, Elfwin, thank you so much. It's not even a message. Elfwin, I love your face. It's the best kind of donation. I don't have to read anything other than potentially your name. If your name was just like a number, just like 2, thank you for the donation. Oh, that would be amazing, because then I have to. That's the least effort for money. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Yeah, so I'm going to start to be doing more gameplay, or gameplay on the channel. I don't want a huge amount of gameplay on the channel. I'll probably be doing a couple of bits of gameplay a week, and one will probably be like a story-esque gameplay that we've got partly set up, and the other one will be just sort of like some cool stuff. But I want to do guides, I want to do news, I want to do how-tos, I want to explain game mechanics, I want to show stuff that you can do in the verse and stuff like that. So yeah, it is gameplay, but it's not not gameplay like you were talking about. It's more specific info based. And that's what the main channel is going to be about. It's going to be about covering the news, covering the game, covering the patch notes, covering what you can do in the game, how you do it in game, and that sort of stuff. And ranting at CIG if they do something that I don't like, pointing stuff out that the community has drama on and stuff like that. Do you think Star Marine or Arena Commander or Racing can potentially become an esport? Potentially. It's more up to the community whether it becomes an esport other than Star Citizen. They can certainly competition incentivize it, so they can have competitions and they can have like yearly leagues and stuff. I think it will be adopted as at least a small league game. I'm not sure if it's going to be a full-blown esport. We'll have to wait and see. I suspect CIG will try and poke the esport aspect to see if it does. It will have to be very good to become an esport. The reason like CSGO and stuff like that are esports and Dota is because they're really easily accessible and they have really high skill ceilings. No, I do appreciate all the love. The Hurricane is flyable in 3.2, so at the end of June. And they've been trying to get the turret gameplay really nailed down as well. Yeah, so expect for the next 2 years there to be less in the way of combat ships and more civilian and that sort of stuff. Oh, I spy. Thank you so much for the donation with just the full stop. Oh my god, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. It's a lot of money. Very much appreciated. See, I'm a sellout. I'll happily sell out their Spire. Cover is fucking link it again, mate. Give me money. Bam. But I will list it on my website at some point, Aspire. No worries. And I will cover it at some point. Question, do you think that 3.2's release is still quite a way off? Well, if you think the end of June's quite a way off, then yes. I wouldn't read too much into the amount of tasks completed, because you don't know the weight of those tasks. A lot of those tasks might not be able to be completed until it's in the Evocati. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. I'm not sure what love is, mate. I'm pretty chill being single, to be honest. It would take a very special lady girl to for me to not want to be single, because I'm very work focused at the moment, and the way I manage with my OCD and my anxiety and depression is to be as in control as possible. So relationships don't work for me very well because they fuck my brain up. But I've got a lot of love to give. How are we going to quantum travel to Hurston, since no size 1 quantum drive can actually do 32 million kilometers in one go? We'll still have to wait and see. There will be, however, the truck stops and that sort of stuff. So either in the short term, there will be shorter distance to Hurston, or quantum travel fuel will be more efficient, or there will be a station on the way. In the future, it will probably just be stations on the way. Yeah, I think we might see lightning storms and stuff in game. I don't think it will do damage to ships, though. It might interfere with sensors and stuff. Actually, saying that, in the coil, there's like lightning and stuff, and you can get fried and damaged, apparently. So. Oh, Aspire, you can send me all the Ethereum you want, mate. Jesus. I love your faces. Like, genuinely, thank you very much. Just joking aside, donations and stuff are appreciated, but they're not necessary. It's feedback, views, engagement. That is really fucking super appreciated. So thank you very much. It's always a weird thing for content creators, because obviously you want money because you're human and you're capitalist. Well, I am. But you don't want to be a dick. I will definitely be in Operation Pitchfork. So Operation Pitchfork is planned to be in beta, towards the end of beta, getting as many people as possible to try and break the servers by attacking the Vandal and trying to push them out as far as we can. Trying to take some of the Vandal systems back and that sort of stuff.
Spaceships.
It's CDO. Put those letters in the
Wow.
right hand order.
Wow.
By the way, two.
Oh my god. Yeah, 2. And then money. Thank you, Harbinger. Much appreciated. No, my OCD isn't. It's not based on people doing or saying stuff in particular ways or tapping or anything. It's my OCD is excessive compulsive thoughts, where I rapidly go through all iterations of things, which is terrifying if you think you're ill, or if you're like, I worry about hurting my cat. I worry about touching my cat too hard. So I worry about killing my cat. I'm worried about crushing my cat. I'm worried about, like, it's weird. And it's like, and then you just get worried about stuff and then I claw my hands and things. So I'm so much better at managing myself than I used to be. Racing is going to get some love with the scrambles as well. Going to have scramble races soon, which are going to allow you to basically have a weapons-free, destroy beacons as you're flying around, shooting each other races. Which I think are like semi-procedurally generated, the races. BoredGamer, I don't think you answered. Do you think moons are going to be set further away from planets? Because I think CIG said they're going to cut back the distance by 10. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be based on iteration of what feels good when it's in game. So that might happen. They might be moving planets and moons further away from each other or closer together. I don't know yet. I'm sort of into D&D, yeah. I like roleplay. I like LARPing. I play in D&D games with my mates and get drunk while I'm doing it. I'm quite a tricksy mother trucker when it comes to like pen and paper roleplay games and things, and board games. Pretty good at them. I think we're gonna probably stream a board game pretty soon. Actually, me and the board game a lot. Kit is a monster at those games because she will use emotional blackmail to try and win, and you're like, ah! You'll see if we stream it. You'll see. Love you, Kit. You're the best. He's my bro. Do you think 4 gamers playing Star Citizen on the same system would be a good use of the Threadripper 32-core CPU? I'm sure Linus Tech Tips will do it at some point. Nice voice. Who won last month's prize? Gene Winter. You can find it in my description of my videos. There will be a link to the current giveaway and like the details of that, all the rules of that. They'll also have last month's giveaway winner will be listed there. Do I know where Finland is? Yes. Got Norway and Finland there. And we've got Russia there. We've got Denmark and Germany there. Shut. What do you want? What do you want from me? My geography isn't awful. Finland there. Sweden, Norway. Norway, Finland? Is that right? Norway, Sweden, Finland. And you've got Russia below it. Yeah. I'll select. Yeah. Please answer this question. Why are they charging $27,000 for access
Tricksy
to
little
ships?
hobbitses.
Thank you very much. Oh, Narek, thank you very much for the sub. Much appreciated. So they are charging they have access to a $27,000 package. If you wish to buy it, it is a upgrade from the completionist package they used to have for $15,000, I think. And it's for big orgs. It's for people that have huge amounts of income that want to buy the game. That's why they have it. And they're not being forced to buy it. And it is a stupid purchase for people because you can spend that on a lot better things. However, yeah, if you're in a big org and people are spending the money putting it together, great. A lot of people, the big whales, are going to be consolidating their current massive packages. Because I know people that have spent tens of thousands of dollars in this game into this package. It's just a medium for people to purchase all the ships in game if they want to. It's not a cheat code. It's not a like it's the game's not supposed to be pay to win. It's something that the community are obviously going to have to keep on at CIG about once there's gameplay for all these ships and stuff. We need to make sure that there isn't play to win. Having an Eve type model when it comes to pay for advantage type stuff, that's kind of fine. You can't have pay to win. They promised it won't be there, so we'll make sure that they don't. I suppose people could have bought the packages themselves anyway by just buying all the ships in game separately, but this saved you money. Board in 3.3, when Hurston is added, it is for sure that one of its moons will have some type of forest. Well, either Hurston will have a forest or its moon. I believe so. What are the other biomes on Hurston? We've seen sort of like the the Mesa type biome, which is like the one we saw around Lorville. So that's like red rocks and that sort of stuff, and flat, like topped hills, that sort of stuff. I think it's going to have acid biomes with sulfur lakes. I think it's going to have trash biomes. So that's the trash biomes look pretty cool. Savannah, and then probably mountains and some colder areas. I suspect on the moons we'll see forest. We'll see lots more water. Well, actually, we'll see water on Hurston. I don't know exactly what we'll see on Hurston or its moons, but we should see. I did a video on it recently. We should see all of those biomes that I mentioned. So sand, savannah, forest, water, the acidy sulfury one, the mesa one, that sort of stuff. We should see them all pretty much across the moons and Hurston. Do I approve of the $1,000 requirement to pay another $27,000 for ships? Do I approve of it? I wouldn't do it myself. I think that the game wouldn't have been funded or made if they didn't sell ships like they did. And I think that the people that are most likely to buy that $27,000 ship are concierge. But I think you can contact customer service if you did want the $27,000 package without being a concierge member. Concierge means you spent at least $1,000 in the game. So I'd say I'm indifferent about approval of it. I don't think people should spend anything more than a starter package. Maybe get an Adventure Titan if you want to spend like $15, $20 extra beyond your starter package to get a better overall ship to start the game with. For some people, it's great if you've got loads of money, you're super affluent. Yeah, fuck it, why not? If it's your dream project. And I thank anyone that has spent stupid amounts of money on the game, because it means that it's going to be a better game for everyone. But yeah, it's an interesting thing as well, because there's a little bit of an accusation when people ask questions like that. And it's sort of like, well, it's sort of like an assumption of greed on their part. They're spending all the money on the game. It's like no one's getting that $27,000 and going, oh, yum, yum, cocaine or something, or buying a car with it. It's going straight into the game. And you can argue that the game's mismanaged or it's taking a long time. You can argue that it's taking a long time quite rightly, and that scope has changed massively from its Kickstarter, but I wouldn't say they're any greedier than any other company that wants to make money. I bought one for an LCI token and won another one. Good job. I actually have a Saber Raven to give away at some point. Actually, I need to find a way of giving that away. It's given to me by one of my Patreon supporters, so thank you very much for that. So, do I think the first part of Squadron 42 will be good enough to calm Star Citizen detractors? No. It doesn't matter how good it is. People are still going to be angry. People that want to be angry at a video game are normally because they don't like the game, or they want to attack the community or whatever. Not all the time. That's a sweeping generalization. And I apologize for making it. However, detractors or whatever, they're going to be angry whatever. Typically. I think Squadron 42 will be pretty fucking solid, though. Will it be as great as Half-Life was when Half-Life was first released? I hope so. That'd be amazing. Half-Life or Half-Life 2 kind of critical acclaim would be fucking amazing. And I don't think people buying ships actually makes them win the game. And it should exist, because why the fuck not? If you're marketing, it should just be marketed in a more sensible way. CIG do stupid stuff marketing-wise. They don't realise how the community will react. However, all of this sort of like stuff, the drama on it is probably just drawn more attention to Star Citizen. It's going to make the keyword Star Citizen trend more. It's going to get more people to look at the game, and then a percentage of those people, it doesn't matter how angry some of them were, will transfer over to the game through osmosis. Question: do you feel the NPC cruise as a solo captain on Reclaimer will be worth it? Don't know yet, but probably. It's a big ship. It's capital size sort of thing, isn't it? Or large at least. And it'll probably need people working on stuff. So you probably will need NPC crews to help you manage it. If not, player crews. Yeah, I don't think there's much more thought going into that $27,000 package from CIG, other than it is an update to their completionist package. It gives people the option to buy it, which they want money, and it allows people that asked for it, the big spenders anyway, to be able to get the pack that they wanted. So. Do you think they're going to work on a friend party system? Yeah, I think they're working on it for 3.2. There's lots of party improvements for 3.2. I don't think I'd buy a $27,000 package if I won the lottery. If I had near infinite money, I probably wouldn't buy one myself. I wouldn't say it's particularly scummy practice. It's just capitalist practice. They want to make money. I'm relatively neutral on it. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, they're great, oh, they should be able to do what the fuck they want. You shouldn't be able to do what the fuck they want. If they start doing really predatory practices, or they start loot boxing, if they start saying you need these ships to play the game, then fuck that. I think we'll be right in there, but... yeah. How important do you think the freedom to interact with each other in an EVE Online fashion with the developers, where the developers don't interfere with politics between orgs? I don't know. I love the way EVE works with some of its battles. There's a lot of stuff that they can learn from EVE, whether it's something they want to put in the game or learn to not do, like EVE does. So there's a lot of stuff that EVE can teach them. And EVE's obviously got their quite pretty good fan fests and stuff like that. I love the politics in EVE. So they still need to work out a lot of stuff with orgs. Like, should orgs be able to be infinitely sized in Star Citizen? I don't think so. I think there needs to be limits on that. And you could limit it with taxing the orgs if they're beyond a certain size. So a percentage of their tax just gets burnt into the ether or something. Or you could limit them, or you could do something. You need to do something about it, because otherwise you're going to have Test Squadron going... Well, there's 100,000 members of us, lols! I'm certainly not against Test, I love Test. I'm just saying that there needs to be something there, yeah? Is the game going to be destructible at least a little bit, like ground digging or building destruction? I think we're going to have building destruction when it comes to outposts, although not really 100% confirmed, although you can nom up outposts with another pioneer, so yeah, probably some form of destruction of buildings. You're probably not going to be able to dig or anything like that. You'll be able to change the topsoil. They've sort of like semi-confirmed for farming and stuff, but no real geometry damage. There are going to be like mineable nodes around that will obviously be destroyed or mined. Team Freelancer, where are you at? Yeah, I'm going to be getting most of my ships in-game, and the ones that I actually have bought, because I've got like $3,000 worth of ships, they're for game content before the game comes out. I might use some of them straight away on day one when the game's released, but I'll probably, a lot of the content I'll be doing will be playing the game and seeing how quickly I can grind up so I can get a feel for it and understand it. I want to understand all levels of stuff, and those ships will then just be used for making content on of how to do a particular mechanic. But I suspect I will be relatively wealthy in the game pretty quickly because I'll have time to just play it. No, so if you bought like the really expensive game packages and stuff, like they've got lifetime insurance on. If you do lose your ship, in that case, you might have to wait a good long time, like larger ships, like a few weeks and stuff, to get back, and you might have to pay UBC and stuff to get them back. But you'll be able to get them back eventually. There's still going to be loss, and it's not just like win button or anything like that. It is lifetime insurance is only supposed to be a small advantage. Obviously, you don't want to lose your ship permanently if you spent money for it, but you're going to be able to insure your ship. So you insure your ships with a small amount of in-game currency. Everything will be obtainable in-game. Any news on in-game ship weapon purchases in 3.2 being permanent? Well, it'll mean they won't be permanent. It'll be alpha UBC purchases until the game goes beta or live, will not be permanent. Yeah, so I'm a real fucking gamer. Like I'm a proper gamer. I that's why I spend most of my time playing games. Although DC pretty much thinks everything after Half-Life 2 is shit in form of games. I have quite a high tolerance for shit. Like, I will play pretty bad games and try and find the gameplay there. Like, I would just do that. But the Metal Gear Survive, I played for like 20 hours. No, this is actually shit. Like, I will look for the gameplay. I will really grind for it. I'm fine at grinding. Like, World of Warcraft, I got max level in like 3 weeks or something. The game first came out because I just grinded. Any chance that CIG will announce the release date for Squadron 42 at E3? I mean, if I wouldn't bet on it, it's probably like 10,000 to 1 though, so maybe putting like 10p on it or something. It's possible, but unlikely. To enter the giveaway that I have monthly on my channels, you just need to comment on a video that's made during the particular month, so this month of June, and be a subscriber. What's the weirdest bug I've encountered? Okay. It was animation cancelling, so that you could make your character do naughty swear words, like naughty pound signs. When you cancel the animations in certain ways, you could do some really weird stuff. Do you think we should see a spawn option for Hurston in the main menu, like we do for Crusader, since we can't quantum jump those distances? I'm hoping that when you... That's a good point, actually. I'm thinking when you first go into the PU, because everything's going to be more persistent. 3.2, we're going to see more persistence. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be, but I'm hoping that saves our location and stuff and where we are. Obviously, you can use service beacons to get people to come along and help you and take you around. We might be able to quantum jump those distances, though. Like, they might be shorter distances, or there might be core astro services and stuff around in the short term. Now, some people are going to have their own views on what predatory practices are, and looking at it from the outside, someone saying that you can have all the ships in game for $27,000 does look like you're trying to milk your community. You're part of, if you're really into Star Citizen, you probably think, well, how could people think this? Well, that's how they think it. They're not They haven't been doing loads of research into Star Citizen, nor probably will they until the game is close to completion. Are you sure they want to make money, or they just need money to make the game? They probably need money to make the game. Like, they're going to need a couple more years, and they're going to need to pay their staff to make the game. Yeah, they're probably going to want to do advertising and stuff for the game eventually as well. What do I prefer, flying, single stick, dual stick, or keyboard and mouse? I prefer keyboard and mouse just for ease of use. However, HOTAS, I've played with some pretty awesome HOTAS. We've talked about the destruction of stuff, I said that earlier. Do you think CIG is trying to get some form of purchasing ships in 3.2, but don't want to mention it, because if they doesn't make it in, the community will be up in arms? Potentially. They sort of promised it for 3.0 and 3.1, well, for 3.1, definitely, and it wasn't in, and I was pretty fucking pissed off, and now they're refusing to answer the question. I just wish they'd tell us what the current plan was, and the likelihood of stuff. Like, yeah, we're trying to get 3.2 to have purchasable ships, but we don't know if it's going to be in there. Like, that would be fine. Just tell me that. But that's a potential. I think it's unlikely, because I would have thought they would have at least mentioned that. Yes, I do think they are localizing languages. Was it you I was talking to this about this with, Giran, if you're still there? I'll find out more about localization of languages, but I'm pretty sure they are. PostScriptum is having another free test weekend. Yes, starting Friday. I might stream it. I'm definitely going to get it. Okay, no, we'll have a look at it. Feel free to message me about it. I'll probably be streaming it, maybe. Oh shit! Event fucking Matadors have turned up, mate. Keep up the good work. What's your favourite for-profit pirate org that's run more like a business? Where could you recommend players look if they want to join a Star Citizen pirate corp with deep lore? I mean, that's a good question, and it's I don't know if you know any. I think like Overdrive, I think. And it is going to get Matadors, who I have done a Star Citizen, who I've done a org spotlight on. Fucking win! It's the top of Google. Bam. They are pretty good friends of mine. They are not dickhead pirates, but they are for-profit pirates. They are a bit naughty when it comes to banter, so please bear that in mind. If you are very sensitive, they may not be an appropriate org for you, but they are very good chaps and they want to have fun. And Anut has recently given me several billion ISK in EVE, so I can do a video about PvP, lessons from EVE, and naivety in Star Citizen about some players, because there's griefing pirates, PvP trolls, and I want to address this, and I want to use EVE as an example for some of the stuff. So, do you think weapon skins such as the subscriber exclusives and CitizenCon skins will be purchasable from stores in game? Yes, some of them maybe. Or you can probably buy them from an auction house from other players and stuff. You're probably about to sell everything in game as much as you are able to buy it from in game, if you see what I mean, to sell it to other players. Do you think we'll see warring factions conducting raids on one another, having wars in a similar way to Battlefield 4? I think we will see it in a similar way to EVE. But yes, I think we'll see that sort of gameplay. How do you see that gameplay being implemented, territory objective taking? I don't know yet, because the idea of territory in non-UEE systems is a bit more fuzzy. So, like, anyone can drop a base. That's where your base is. So there might not be hard territory lines. Have you seen the new gunship-looking concept for No Man's Sky, hinting at multi-crew? I hope it has multi-crew. I suspect it actually will have multi-crew to a very derpy level. Just sort of like gunning and stuff. And I'm looking forward to No Man's Sky's update. I am. Like, I'll mess around with that multiplayer. Sounds like now, with that update, it sounds like basically what they wanted for the release of the game. So like most of that stuff is in now. I would have been happy if they'd released No Man's Sky with. Well, but we'll play the new update first and then talk about it. On the cutlass back, have you noticed there is a red and yellow ball in the front right of the wing? Any idea what that is? That's probably just a placeholder, like point or something. It's probably a bug and not meant to be there, basically. Another question: what X.0 updates do you think we'll see capital ships? We'll probably see the Polaris. Maybe we will see. I don't know. It might depend on Squadron 42. It might not. We could potentially start seeing capital ships after 3.3 is released, because they need object container streaming. Why make an entire planet with buildings if you can't even enter them? How much visitable part of a planet city will be in-game percentage? Okay. My brain's just trying to work out how. Yeah, so some of like ArcCorp's city planet is going to be is going to have interiors, and they're procedurally assisted generated interiors. Some of them they can have multiple landing zones on a planet. Not the entire planet will be visitable and searchable in the inside and have interiors, but some of it will be. It's a place that makes it sensible. And the reason you have an entire planet with buildings is it looks cool. For design interactions in terms of version numbers on the roadmap, when do we get into a beta release? They haven't got it on the roadmap by any means. They only show 12 months effectively-ish on the roadmap. So I'm expecting a beta in a couple of years. How will they make money after launch? I'm guessing they are crowdfunding, so no real costs on development expenses. So everything after launch is income. Yes, very much so. So they're obviously going to be selling game packages. They're going to be selling the game. They're going to be selling some ships, I expect. Potentially concept sales, although they might shy away from that. I'd sell concept ships still. Every 3 months or 6 months, I'll have a concept ship at least. Every 3 months probably is what I would do. But I'm a dirty capitalist. They're going to sell in-game currency, UEC. People might be like, oh, what? Let's think of it like Plex. I probably won't buy any ever. And potentially they might sell skins. But they haven't confirmed that either. Like, that was an idea that I had. And eventually you might get subscriptions and stuff like that to voluntary ones. But we'll have to wait and see. I've talked to Erin about it, and every year I go and see an office tour. I will ask them, is this still the plan for funding after the game? Are you planning just to sell game packages and in-game currency, or is there more plans? But basically, every time Erin says that's the current plan, but if stuff is sensible to do, we will do it. We'll explore all options and do it if sensible. How come CIG never released new ship weapon in 3.0? Sorry, I don't know. This may be a long-term idea, but do you think that implement regular activities like billiards, poker, or gambling in general on board luxury ships or player bases, casinos, and hotspots? I'm not sure what they can do gambling-wise in the form of casinos and stuff, so don't know, but because if it's in-game currency, it's all fucking fine. Although you could tangibly say that has value because people can buy it, but I don't know. So maybe they had that little basketball game they made. So they literally had a basketball game. So there probably will be lots of mini games that you can play in game. And there'll almost certainly be stuff that you can do on the Moby Glass to play multiplayer little mini games while traveling between systems and things. But yeah, I'd love to see being able to do a physics pool table. Fucking why not? Right. I might go for dinner in a second. Any idea why weapons rented with rec are not showing to add to hard points? Is it for in the persistent universe, they're not supposed to be added. If it's for, I don't know if you're trying to add them in Arena Commander, I don't know. Yeah, I think it might stop them selling gambling in-game. Also, them selling in-game currency does help prevent gold sellers as much. Like, at least cap them and regulate them a bit better. Like, in any game, any MMO, you're going to have gold sellers coming out your wazoo. I've had some personal thoughts on a space sim I'd create, hence why I got into Star Citizen. One of those ideas was to build buildable space stations with modular sections. Any thoughts? I love the idea. I love the idea of manufacture and building and spaceship building and space station building in Star Citizen. But I want the current features they've got planned to be implemented or at least shown that they're working on. I do want the game to come out like in a reasonable pace. Like a couple of years for beta, I'm okay with. A year and a half after that for a live release, I'm probably okay with. If it's like for a live release, 4.5 years is sort of like my boiling point. 4.5 years is my boiling point. I quite enjoyed WoW when it first came out. There's lots of stuff that you can. I was a lot younger then, obviously. I was like 19, and I ground the mother truck out of that game. I don't know what I'm gonna. I probably have a steak and probably some I don't know, some sort of veg with it. I won't have any massive amount of carbs with it anymore because I'm trying to be healthy, and I need to lose weight because I'm fucking huge. It's probably an exaggeration, but I'm pretty tubby. Oh, people, if you go on Steam, there are a couple of games that are free on Steam for the next 36 hours. That if you add them to your account, you get them permanently. Totally Accurate Battlegrounds is one of them, which I'm actually planning to play later today. And it's got good reviews. It's a piss take of PUBG, and it's free at the moment, so that's good. What was the other one? There's another one. Fortified. Another multiplayer game, like a tower defense-y, third-person shooter one. There you go. That's some free games. Aegis Eclipse looks great. Is it worth it? Don't know. Haven't flown it yet. Once we fly it, we'll know a bit more. Get it in game, sort of thing. Like some of those ships are quite expensive, for a very specific niche use. Stealth bomber, very specific niche use. Just saw someone mention nudity, raised an interesting question in mind. To what degree do you think nudity will be present? Very little. I think that there's not going to be any, there's probably unlikely to be heavy drug use, gore, or nudity in game, because they're going to want it to appeal to a larger audience and to more countries. My first computer was a 386. I remember my brother bringing a Mega Drive home. Oh no, of course that wasn't my first. So I used to play Road Rash and Alex Kidd and Miracle World on the Master System. Master System's the earliest I can remember I played on. Yeah. Right. Any other questions? Does anyone have any questions or anything they want me to go over very quickly? I did have... I'll really quickly go over what was in Calling All Devs. They talked about life support systems, which are on every ship. They're hull-bound, so you can't change them on your ship. You just have a life support system. They just need power to generate oxygen. So you effectively have your helmet off there. They can be damaged and they can be repaired. There's going to be clothing at locations, which each location will have its own sort of like style of clothing typically, and a percentage of the population will be wearing that based on where the location is. At larger hub towns, you're going to have lots of variety of clothing. The Phoenix is going to have better components than the other constellations. It's going to have 2 manned turrets and an additional unmanned turret to follow once they get the tech online to have those turrets there. The new Drake concept ship we're assuming is the Vulture, coming on the 14th of June. So hopefully that's correct. Because that'll be cool, because then we called it. Well, am I so good at what I do? This is Randy, because no one else is doing what I do. We are going to start to have some pretty good content creators cover Star Citizen at some point soon, I suspect. Especially when the game's like closer to release or in beta. You'll see a lot of people that are better than me. But I will have the nostalgia aspect. People will be like, oh, you're the first. Yes, it was. I wasn't even the first, but I'm probably the most consistent. Persistent. Do you think they'll add a big boss, a boss button to bring up the old Lotus spreadsheet? What? I think we'll have a time limit. So once your sort of like life support system goes down, it won't just be instantly. You have a little while to be able to get into like a spacesuit, auto run and repair the system. I don't think concierge only events are worth the price. No, they're very specific again. Well, there the ability to sabotage ships from both outside and within. The ability to board ships stealthily, be present in game. I believe so, yeah. I believe that's definitely a plan. You'll have to mask yourself somehow. There might be internal scanners and sensors as well. That someone could go, hang on, we've got an extra life sign aboard. Something like that. So just bear that in mind. They haven't fleshed out that stuff fully at all. But they do want that sort of gameplay to be there. For you to sabotage ships, for you to track ships, for you to use hacking missiles and things like that as well. Cheers for the news board. Love your work, mate. Thank you very much, Casper, for the donation. Very much appreciated. Boss buttons, yes! Lucky yes, I met Devs and Chris Roberts / Sandy for the first time at May 4th. That event was amazing. Super amazing for me. It was worth every penny. Okay, David. Cool. I don't like spending money. It's as honest as that. I didn't go to the event, so I'm glad you had a good time. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Look up boss buttons. A boss key or boss button is a special keyboard shortcut used in PC games or other programs to hide the program quickly. Oh, I see. A wanking button, we call it in the UK. Yeah, so 3.2 should have purchasable weapons. I'm not sure. You can't... Stuff that you can buy with Rec, you can't use in the Persistent Universe. Have you heard of the Org Republic or Laurel? They were the only org with a table at BritisonCon. I'm now a part of it. You should check it out. Its lore is interesting. I did talk to them very briefly, but I was very drunk. I will check it out. Eben, can you message me their org page, because I'll look at them out and see if they want to be in an org spotlight at some point. It's probably worth covering them. Blastergams, there is no proof that any Star Citizen fan to start with actually sent that threat to Sid. But Sid seems to be pretty chilled out about it now. Like he's recovered from his anger, which reasonable anger as well. Like no one wants that. But also discategorizing people as Star Citizen fans, using as like an accusatory statement, it's pretty shitty. Have I tried VR porn? Not really. I'm waiting to get a sex bot. Why make a huge planet with buildings if you can't actually visit them? We've talked about this. I don't know if percentages are going to be visible, but you're going to be able to fly around and some of the places. They just look cool. It's for visual quality, but some of the interiors are going to be explorable, large portions of them, and there's going to be large portions of the planet that will be visitable as landing zones and areas. Cider at the moment. Beer or cider? I prefer cider. Evocati just went out. I don't think you'd troll me. So I'm not sure if Bob would troll me or not. I vaguely remember being wrecked in playing golf with him when I was at iSeries, and everyone else that was around me. Again, I was drunk. I don't know if you're trolling or not. I'll have to look in a minute. Yeah, someone else check for me. No, I don't really have a favourite cider. No, I'll drink a lot. Like I quite like Old Rosie. Just a standard, like just a quick Stowford press, nice and simple. Can't go wrong with a Stowford. If money no object VR is Simpit, VR probably less comfortable with Simpits. Do you think we will be able to play Arena Command and Star Marine from within the PU from a terminal or something? Yes, I think that's how it will be handled in the future. I've got some Shadow Valley downstairs, actually. I think it's Shadow Valley. Your view on multi-ships in game, i.e. if you're multi-ship owner, I have a friend other than you own, NPC own at once in game, your view as CIG don't want this? I'm so confused, Dragons Gaming, sorry. Will there be jungle planets like in Avatar? I believe so. I believe they want to do lush jungles and ocean planets. Pretty much all the biomes you can think of will probably be covered at some point in the game. Dual sticks as controllers are great. Noobifier swears by them, says they're the best control system you can use. I use mouse and keyboard for ease of use, and because I'm streaming and creating videos and stuff, they're much easier to use for me. What I want CIG to do... you watch real... Yeah, so there are going to be TVs and stuff in game. Hopefully we'll be able to output things to them, but I'm not sure. There's like lounges and stuff in game. I think you'll definitely be able to, at the very least, output other things that are happening in game onto them. But look at chat. I mean, I'm not breaking NDA by saying all I can see in the Evocati chat is a load of memes. Okay, well, I'm gonna have food, whatever. I'm gonna have food, and I'm gonna see. Okay, someone's let me send me a link on Discord. Oh, Road Redemption looks cool. Hey, board. Okay, so what's this? Okay. Okay, well, I don't know. I cannot confirm or deny that the Evocati has gone live. We'll have a look. I said it might go live as early as today, so we'll have to see. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. How many hours straight do you think the average avocado has to play Star Citizen before they come ripe? Wow. Did they ever say we can play on 2 different characters on one account? I think you can, yeah. I think every game package gives you an access to another character slot, I think. Do you think UEC will be our Alpha UEC from 3.2 on? Yes, I think it will be. They wanted to have that in 3.1 and then a 3.1x patch, but they didn't have it in. But I think our starting Alpha UEC will be our current UEC. Hopefully we'll be able to melt our Voyager Direct purchases as well. Right. Thank you very much for all of the donations, all of the kind words, all of the questions, all of the questions that you want me to answer, the not so kind words or whatever. It's all good. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm sorry that there's been drama in the community. However, I don't think anyone here is to blame. and hopefully it wasn't anyone to do with Star Citizen at all, and it was just a troll trying to, clearly, to me, it's most certainly a troll that was trying to anger a situation and cause it to explode like it did. And other people that have different opinions from you, it's all good. Let the game speak for itself. You don't have to defend anything. Just worth making sure that we keep CIG on track when it comes to pay to win and stuff like that. So we need to remain vigilant. However, it's, games in development. It is starting to deliver. 3.2 should be coming at the end of June, and it might have even gone to Evocati. So I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Peace. Oh, we'll go host someone. Let's see if any BoredGamer guys are online. Go host them if they are. Nope. My guys are online. I might be playing some other games later tonight. Oh, the Evocati's out. I'll probably be playing that, to be honest. Oh, we're going to go host Must Nuduru, because I love his face.
Pain streams.
Go give Moist Noodle some love. Bam. Kabam. That's where we're going to go. You take care, guys, and I will talk to you soon. Let us raid him, actually. /raid. Moist Nuduru. Is that going to work? Yes, it fucking is. Give the man some love. But thank you very much. I do appreciate all the kind words and the love. What do you think the reasons are behind calling Subscriber Flare exclusive? Because it helps get them subscribers. And the little subscriber flares are just like skins. I'm cool with that. You're probably about to bite off other people anyway, so. Give this man some love, though. Talk to you soon, guys. Peace.